alone. I feel like I'm unknown to the world that's full of clones. My originality's focused on principalities broken. I'm loaning my heart and soul to the game that's scared to pay it back. And failure is a motherfucker. The strength to go on and believing in another sucker.
Man, I don't know how many times we can hear that intro and it's just fire every single time. Like I was like, man, I'm about to lose focus, man. I'm over here getting hyped before we even get started. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is Hump Day, which means it's time for Gentlemen's Talk.
Happy Gentlemen's Talk Day.
Let them know. And of course, shout out to my Miami Heat. The game is getting ready to tip off here shortly. And I'm going to go ahead and say it so you hoes hear me here and now. Heat in 7. I said it, recorded. Go and get that timestamp one time for the one time, Troy. So, as you can see in my headline, I am the CEO of Hoochie Daddy Incorporated, Mr. GQ.
And I am the leader of the Baby Mama Steelers, DJ Micah B. And in the great words of T.I., recognize I'm back. Gentlemen's Talk, let's go, man.
Let's get it, man. Shout out to the chat. I see y'all already in there doing y'all's thing. We about to get rocking and rolling. So, let's get started with a little bit of MMA news. So, for those who have not been paying too much attention outside of UFC, let me bring you into another potential part of the MMA game. Let's bring you into the Pro Fighters League, also known as PFL, with their most massive signing recently by signing Francis Ngannou. Yes, for those who have watched UFC, you are very familiar with the name Francis Ngannou because he was one of UFC's biggest stars and at a point in particular time, one of 3 African champions that the UFC was toting around at the same damn time. Like I said, at the same damn time. But this deal is an unprecedented deal for all MMA fighters. This is why I said this is MMA news, not just UFC, because Francis Ngannou wanted a very similar deal-ish with UFC. They wouldn't give it to him. He said, cool, I'm going to take my talents elsewhere. PFL said, hey, we got this. Let's talk about it. So let me read off this deal. DJ Micah B, when you're done, I want you to give me your thoughts and think about this on a grand scale of what the future of MMA negotiations can be like. So with this, he will debut in the league's super fight division in 2024. So he will share in the pay-per-view revenue for this fight. He also will spearhead the league's push into Africa as the chairman and the minority equity owner of the new PFL Africa division. He will serve on the PFL Athlete Advisory Board as well. The last part of this that I really wanted to touch on, which people will not talk about, they'll see the deal and they'll sleep on this last part. He negotiated for every opponent that he fights, no matter what, they will walk out of that fight with no less than a $2 million purse. DJ Michael B, what's your thoughts on that?
That's huge. That is huge for opponents. That's huge for him. This is a monster deal. Number one, just that the $2 million purse is huge because people like Conor McGregor have taken other routes to get large paydays. As y'all know, Conor McGregor took on Floyd and got the biggest payday of his life, and then pretty much got complacent. I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, let's call it what it is.
Yeah, let's call it what it is. The fact that he signs for part ownership, pretty much with PFL Africa, that's another huge thing because he's going to be securing the bag through that craziness. On the grander scheme of things, if you didn't think PFL could compete with MMA, especially after acquiring WWE and giving out contracts, it sounds a lot like a WWE contract whenever you factor in the amount of money he can potentially make off of this. This kind of, you know what this reminds me of? Live Golf. Because everybody wanted to be on PGA. Because PGA was paying the money. It seemed like that was the only place you could go and get money unless you were doing private games and sponsorships. And then out of nowhere, boom, Live comes along and they are an instant competitor.
Yeah, PFL and a lot of marquee names left the PGA Tour and went with Live, took a whole bunch of flack, and got called all kind of, fucked off ass names. But hey, they securing the bag. Like at the end of the day, and this is what people need to understand about any of these professional athletes. Like when I hear a lot of people, they talk like, oh, I can't believe they're paying these athletes this, that, and the other. I'm like, listen, man, that is their profession. Just like if you, as a normal ass human, take your ass to medical school and become a doctor, That is your profession. If you are a lawyer who goes to law school, takes the bar, passes the bar, becomes a full-fledged, fantastic-ass attorney, or becomes a judge, whatever case you might be, that is your profession. If you decide to go get 1,000,000 certifications and become a fitness trainer, that is your profession. You are paid what you are worth. And guess what? These athletes are more than just, oh, I'm paying this guy $200 million over the course of the next 5 years. These are butts in seats.
Yep.
You are paying money to go see these cats. So let's think about that. You can watch it on TV, which guess what? There's still money to be made when you watch it on TV. And for all them season ticket holders that sit their happy ass in them courtside ass seats to go watch you dribble a basketball. If you don't like it, stop going. But guess what? Your ass is still going. Shut the fuck up and let these people live their life. All right, get in how you fit in. If you jealous, guess what? You should have worked harder. There's a lot of videos out there of Kobe, God rest his soul, that talked about it. There's a lot of cats out there that want it, but it's not a lot of cats that can go get it. Shout out to your GOAT. I see you, big dog. Sorry about what happened to you yesterday in the draft lottery. I know you wanted Detroit to get that #1 pick, but it went to my man DJ Micah B, San Antonio Spurs over there. So for some strange reason, it's something about the Spurs and #1 picks because they drafted this guy back in 1987 by the name of David Robinson. And then 10 years later, they drafted this other guy by the name of Timmy Duncan, which established the Twin Towers. And we know the story from there. And now you add this potential. We don't know much. We know what we've seen from Mr. Wembanyama, but now we'll see if he pans out. That's really it. Like, I mean, I hope he pans out.
I hope he pans out. But I don't have a problem with the Spurs getting him. Huh.
But 5. See, I did think that I actually thought Detroit would get at least the top 3. It's just the way it was looking. I thought it would. Here's what's I was like, when they showed the top 10, I was like, please do not let somehow, some way Oklahoma City end up with this damn pick. Because I don't think anybody's had a better luck in the draft lottery in Oklahoma City. I was like, but it would have been them. But just imagine, for the sake of a quick discussion, we don't want to take too much away from the rest of the show, but like if a team like the Pelicans would have got that pick.
Hell, even Oklahoma City was Shy and Giddey already.
Yeah, well then you still got the rookie from last year didn't even play.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And yeah, I'm like, so, but then it wouldn't have been bad for him to go to Portland either. You'd gave Dame, a cat like that wouldn't have been bad, but we'll see. The draft is less than a month away. We'll be keeping our eyes on it. We don't put too much stock into the NBA draft outside of the top 15.
Yeah.
Realistically, but we'll see what the Houston Rockets do as well.
Outside of the lottery, pretty much, because the lottery is the top 14 picks. So
yeah. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So let's get this recap of Monday Night Raw because, of course, it is Wednesday, which means we've had Raw and NXT already happen, which means we are now on the road to Night of Champions.
Oh, yeah.
Happening in good old in Saudi Arabia. So let's check it out. So recap of Monday night, what you basically had is you had Cody Rhodes come up with a response for Brock Lesnar. Becky Lynch made a response to Trish Stratus, which is one of the strangest fucking stories in all of wrestling right now. It's weird because, like, I see and hear Trish talking. I'm like, she sounds like Attitude Era Trish. She still kind of looks like her. But the in-ring quality is a little suspect. But we'll leave that discussion when we get down there.
By the way, Cody Rhodes promo for Brock Lesnar, the line, "You're just simply in my way." Magical.
Fire. You had Shinsuke Nakamura head up with The Miz. You had a #1 Intercontinental Championship, #1 Contenders Battle Royal, and the Raw debut of Imperium as well, which for those who do not know who Imperium is, that is Gunther and company. All right. They were one of the greatest trios, factions, whatever word you want to classify them as, that NXT has ever produced. Imperium was phenomenal. Actually, Gunther came over from NXT UK before they merged and made this whole NXT 2.0 thing. But Imperium is one of the best pure wrestling stables. That's the word I was looking for in all of wrestling. All 3 of these guys are extremely talented in the ring. Their in-ring chemistry as a stable is great. And Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion is phenomenal.
He's really brought prestige. He's You know, every couple of years, the prestige of the Intercontinental takes a little dive, and then you just got that one guy that revives it, and he's amazing.
Oh yeah,
it's sad that one day you don't have to drop it and get into the main event, circuit event, but man,
it's just, and he puts out hard hitting matches.
Yeah,
like he's a big guy, but his quality of match, like he wears you down. Like I still think back, even now, for me, the best match I've seen him in still was him and Sheamus, man. God, dog, man. Sheamus was crimson red on the chest, the whelps. I was like, but they just, and then the triple threat match to follow, like they just beat the hell out of each other. But that was the kind of wrestling that I miss seeing. We haven't really had a physical guy like that in a very long, like there was even a point in time where that was like, that's how the Big Show was. He was physical. He wore you down. Man, hit you with that damn fucking pot for a hand and hit you in the chest and clapped your shit all up like that. No, we hadn't really had anybody like this. But Gunther's also smaller. Gunther used to be bigger.
Yeah.
Gunther lost weight and looked like you don't want to fuck with him in the bar. He might throw the whole bar out.
Exactly. It's kind of like I tell people, like I said, I told Joseph this. I think I said on the podcast too. Gone are the days where you could just be big and come into wrestling. Like you just be a big dude and come into wrestling. These big dudes can wrestle, dude. All of them. Yeah. They all have skill. There's no slider like Andre the Giant or the Great Khali or the big guys of the past that came in and they were just big and intimidating.
What's happening, Zamora?
What's up, Z? Zamora. So, Gunther has an actual wrestling package. It's freaking amazing to see.
Yeah.
How agile he is, how good he is.
I think Omos will get better. And believe it or not, I learned this. Did you know that Omos is 29 years old?
Hell no.
He is 29 years old.
Shit.
That man ain't even really hit. He ain't even hit his what they call it, that grown man, that old man strength, whatever they call it.
He grown man strength, yeah, dog.
Yeah, like so he got time to really develop into something even better. Granted, like his matches haven't been bad. Yes, he's lost 2 pay-per-view matches in a row, but he has looked stronger. Like I give him that. He has looked stronger.
And he has the right mentor and manager too. So
he does. I mean, I liked him with AJ Styles too. I actually didn't think that was a bad pairing.
It wasn't.
But I do like MVP for what MVP is, kind of being like another, I hate to use the word like Paul Heyman type, but that's basically what we don't have enough. I don't think we have enough managers currently.
We don't.
Like you've got like, I mean, because I remember there was a time when you had Vicky Guerrero, you had let's see, you had I missed one, Teddy Long before he became a GM.
Before he became a GM.
If someone is a novice in wrestling, who you recommend to start watching? I would start with NXT. I think NXT is a great place to start. It shows up on Tuesdays on the USA Network. I think it's phenomenal. It's one of the building blocks leading into the main roster of WWE.
It's the G League for WWE. That's the best way.
But it has some of the best talent you will see.
Yeah.
If I put it in order, I would watch as a novice. I would watch NXT just to understand the flow of things, and then I would watch Raw then SmackDown. If I put it in an order, some people will flip it and say SmackDown then Raw, but after the draft, I think Raw has a better roster than SmackDown. So I would go NXT, Raw, then SmackDown, and that's Tuesday, Monday, Friday. So that gives you 3 days to watch some solid wrestling.
That's a good ass question. That's a very good question.
Yeah,
I've never been asked that before. So
no, it's a solid question. I'm all with it. So let's see. So we had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn kicking Raw off, trying to continue to push the allure of the fact that they're not going to Night of Champions. Like people haven't realized this, but they're not allowed to travel to Saudi Arabia. So we have so it's interesting. I'm really trying to figure out how this is gonna. I don't know, but apparently somehow, some way, I guess they're going to travel because initially everything that came out said they weren't going to travel.
Wait, why couldn't they travel?
I don't know, something to do with them being Canadian and going to Saudi Arabia. There's some other reasonings, like same reasons why the Usos basically couldn't go to Canada at a point in time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's like, I'd have to dig a little bit deeper into it, but it was some stuff I was reading. But people are gunning for these titles, man. Like, and I think as much as we love the Usos carrying both belts for the longest time, it is time to finally split those belts. Now you have enough. You have more than enough comparable tag teams to split it and let Raw and SmackDown do their thing. I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn should stay on Raw. I think they should be separate from the Bloodline altogether because they just should. I have no problem with them still being tag champs. I think they will be solid. And there's a lot of great tag teams on Raw, so there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of potential feuds. There's a lot of greatness that can happen.
There is.
If we split the belts. Like the reason and here's what people need to understand. A reason a lot of these belts got unified is because the rosters were trash. The stories were trash. The talent was trash. There wasn't enough talent.
The last draft was trash.
Yes, there was not enough talent to make it to where it's like, oh yeah, we still need 2 champs. Like it really wasn't. Like I wasn't mad when they gave the belts to Roman. I was like, who would have been the other champion? Who at the time?
You hear me advocating since we started. Gentlemen start like, yo, the rosters ain't good enough. You need to go ahead and just combine them back until you get a good enough roster to split them again.
And now we have, because this last draft had a lot of NXT influence going on. And I'm telling you right now, if you've been watching NXT, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces on the main rosters, and you're going to be a fan because they brought up some serious talent, and they still kept the staples down there. You still got Carmelo Hayes down there. Braun Breaker is still down there. Like they still kept some really good guys, but the ones they brought up though, oh, it's gonna be some dogs coming soon. Like I'm looking forward to.
Gonna get called up. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought he was gonna get drafted.
I love this heel turn, and if you haven't seen it, bro, you got to go see the video of the spear. Oh my God, bro. The spear on NXT this past Tuesday that Braun Breaker did to Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo went for his second rope bounce off with the elbow, and Braun caught that boy at the high point like a receiver catching a football. And I'm talking about the timing, shoulder into the stomach, straight dropped him like it was textbook, but it looked better. This might sound real controversial. That was better than any spear Goldberg had ever done.
That don't sound controversial to me.
Well, because at the peak, Goldberg's spear was pretty at the peak of WCW, not WWF.
Oh, okay.
Goldberg's I'm saying of all of his spears, because that spear looked like a defensive end laying a running back out, and that running back fumbled after that hit. Like you wasn't hanging on to that ball. Like you weren't. That shoulder knocked that ball loose and your ass landed on your back. Like that's how great that spear looked. Textbook.
We talking about Reggie Bush taking the hit?
Man, I mean, yeah, he would have had somebody crawling. I don't know how Carmelo got up after that. But the big deal, of course, for the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens situation is because, of course, now we know we're gonna have Night of Champions. We're going to have Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. There's now controversy brewing between the Bloodline. The question now becomes, are the Usos going to get involved? Are they going to get involved and stay in line and interfere to cause Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to lose? Or is this where we actually start to see the split? Now, the reason I don't think we see the split of the Bloodline yet is because it's already been rumored that at SummerSlam, you would have Solo and Roman versus the Usos at SummerSlam. It's already being rumored as the match. So I don't know if they do it at Night of Champions, or maybe they do and that's how they build it. Maybe that's how they do it.
I think maybe they do it because I do believe the belts are on the line. And come on, man, you can't give Roman the tag belt now. It's too late in his run now. You already heard. There's nobody else for the past 2 years. give him his 1,000-day run. Somehow
we're already about to crown a new champion. Heavyweight champion. It's time to start, making these transitions as best we can. Of course, as best we can.
I do think the Usos will interfere. I don't know if they'll interfere and cross the line that night, or if they'll interfere and they'll mess up, and then Solo will get pinned, because there's no way in hell they're gonna let one of them pin Roman and get over.
No. Roman's not getting pinned. But I mean, we'll see. I know I'll be tuned in. I'm sure, hell, we may be at the same location when Night of Champions is going on, knowing you and I, but we got to make plans for Raw. We cannot miss that Raw.
The 31st.
Hey, look, I'm telling you right now. Look, Troy, if you watching, Goat, if you watching, timestamp this, because Gentlemen's Talk from the sidelines, we will be live on location at Monday Night Raw in Houston, Texas, just like we was for the NCAA Fan Fest. We will be there live and in color, recording, acting an ass because we are fans, and that's what fans do. We act an ass within reason. We're not getting kicked out, but we're gonna get a little ignorant. That's probably because we're gonna be drinking prior to. Oh,
especially together, we'll get a little ignorant.
Oh yeah. Hey, look,
no kids at this time. Oh my God.
Oh man. Listen, if we ain't had no kids at Fan Fest, we've been holding ball game. But we still made it. We still made it do what it do.
Yeah.
All right. So you had Shinsuke Nakamura head up with the Miz. Since Shinsuke's come back, they're really pushing Shinsuke to be big. Yeah. It almost looks as if they're gonna push him into the main event picture. And I think because we've got the belts finally splitting, which I'll talk about that in a minute. But since we got the belt splitting now, it's starting to build more and more potential compelling storylines for the separate champions, not just the one champion that's coming up on his 1,000-day reign. So looking forward to that. Of course, it was at the cost of the Miz, and the match overall really wasn't that good. But the match was one of those, like, it wasn't a squash match. Like, I hate when WWE does those fucking squash matches. Like, those are trash. But the match could have been better because Miz is a better wrestler than that match portrayed. And it just,
WWE is kind of they're starting to feel like they forgot that the Miz is a triple crown champion twice.
The only,
I think, I'm about to say the only one. So, it's very unfortunate for the Miz. Although I did enjoy his hosting at WrestleMania, I thought that was a brilliant tactic to use the Miz to host WrestleMania.
I loved it. I just hated the bullshit impromptu matches. Now it looks like we know what we're gonna see at WrestleManias moving forward. Is these impromptu ass matches for the host? And I'm like, listen, don't get me wrong. Snoop saved the show. He really did. That shit was live. But save all that for the last night. Don't do that shit back to back nights because you lose the pop.
Yeah.
Like, do it on Sunday. It's great. Everybody watching is bomb. Like, cool. You can't do it Saturday and Sunday. So pick a day. Either do it on Saturday or do it on Sunday. Doesn't matter which day you do it, but don't do it on both days because you're not even taking away from the pay-per-view. You actually kind of hurt the pay-per-view going back-to-back days because then Shane tore his fucking ACL. So like
Snoop literally had to save the show.
Yeah, like Snoop was like, hey, fuck it. Tag me in. You know what I'm saying? So he did his thing. And I ain't mad at him. Following up with that, we had the number one contender battle royale for the Intercontinental title. This featured a lot of talent from NXT plus Raw talent. So let me name these cats off for you real quick. You had Apollo Crews, you had Matt Riddle, Bronson Reed came from NXT, Johnny Gargano came from NXT, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet came from NXT and 205. Von Wagner came from NXT. JD McDonough came from NXT, and Zion Quinn also came from NXT. I'm gonna tell you right now, JD McDonough, that's a future star. He was a phenomenal heel on NXT. I love the dude's talent. I'm a fan. He's a smaller guy, but he's a bad motherfucker though. Like he's like a reincarnated Hardcore Holly, but he's better on the mic.
Okay, yeah, Hardcore Holly.
I'm gonna say it like that because I liked Hardcore Holly. That was bad. I liked Hardcore Holly. I was a fan.
I love Hardcore Holly.
But I think JD McDonough's better on the mic. But I think they're similar as far as their presence.
Okay.
He ain't the big cockswole. I'm an Alabama slam your ass like Holly was, but he has that look. That's for my old wrestling heads. I mean, so I'm trying to keep it correlated. See, I'll catch what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And like I said, of course, we know Matt Riddle. We know his background. We know Apollo Crews. He's been up and down. He was on NXT. He was on the main roster. He's back on NXT.
Didn't Apollo Crews have a championship at one point?
He was the Intercontinental Champion. He had a fake ass African accent for a while.
Yeah, he battled Big E. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he had Commander Aziz, who is now on NXT and basically irrelevant, but whatever.
Yeah,
but that was what was good. So it was a great match, hard hitting match, a lot of back and forth. Ali won the match, setting up an absolute ass whooping at Night of Champions because there is no way in hell that Ali is going to beat Gunther. I'm sorry. I'm not even trying to like make a joke about it. There's no build. There's no build for Ali as not cool. You want to play the underdog role? Cool. You want to play because United Champions is in Saudi Arabia, you want to have a guy who looks the part, whatever. Stop the cap. You should have had Matt Riddle win this match. Matt Riddle would have put on a much more compelling match against Gunther and actually would have had a chance to win this match, my opinion. I don't think you give it to JD McDonough just yet because he just got there. Don't push him so quickly. You could have also pushed Bronson Reed into this because Bronson Reed is the biggest Australian I've ever seen in my fucking life. I've never seen an Australian that big and that athletic. That shit's scary. Like, yeah, that would have been a damn good match of two powerhouses, two athletic powerhouses, not the old school 2 7-footers who ain't that limber fighting. Yeah. These two would have done some shit, and it'd have been great to see. So, then you have Becky Lynch addressing Trish Stratus. You've got Becky versus her childhood idol, which is Lita and Trish, because Trish took Lita out and then cost them the tag championships, and now we're here. But I do love that they're building Becky Lynch back to this man persona. The man persona is phenomenal for her. She's not a hero. She's not a heel. She's just cocky as hell. Like, and I like it. Like, this is the Becky that I hope we have. Like, I didn't like the. This is the persona that got her to be the number 1 draft pick. Yeah, like I didn't like the Hollywood Becky Lynch. That shit, like she was trying to be like, they tried to make her look more like her husband. These outlandish ass outfits and all, like that ain't Becky, bro. Like even when Becky first came up when she was the Irish lass kicker, like she was wearing just the goggles, you know what I'm saying, the jacket. She wasn't looking all like, she came out looking like she was on fucking Fashion Week every week, and that shit wasn't a good look. I'm sorry. That's on Seth Rollins to do, dog. I'm not gonna lie. Seth killing the game. Seth probably got to be the drippiest wrestler right now, like ever, bruh. Like, and I don't even like the style personally, but it fits him because when he the only one I've seen outside of Wayne that could rock them red ass boots and make them hoes look compelling. Yeah, and he curb stomped somebody with them motherfuckers on. I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Seth is on another level. Speaking of Seth Rollins is going to be in the next Captain America film, playing a villain, and I think that's fire. He looks like a Marvel villain. He does. He already does. He looks like he could have played the Mandarin in Captain America. In anything. In Iron Man. In Iron Man. Iron Man 2. He looked like he could have played the Mandarin. Than what they had. Sorry. Yeah, 100%. Like he makes for the perfect Marvel villain, and I hope we see more of this because I think of all of our WWE personalities, he fits that Marvel build better than anybody else. Like this, if it goes well, this gives Seth a chance to do something no one else in WWE has done. Like, I know we have John Cena playing Peacemaker, which, by the way, Peacemaker is fucking phenomenal. One of the best shows that HBO Max put out there. Cheesiest fucking theme song, but that shit was live for some reason. Like, but I can't wait for the next season of Peacemaker because that shit had you laughing, that shit had you crying, that shit was fucking great. Like, and then if you go read the comics, like John Cena encapsulated Peacemaker. Yeah. Like, just like Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. Like it was spot on. So I'm looking forward to seeing that go because we're gonna be in the movie theater getting ready for all the Marvelness coming soon. So you had Xavier Woods and Dominic Mysterio. Xavier Woods been hot as of late and then kind of cooled off. And now they put him up against Dominic Mysterio, and they are trying every single trick in the book they can to make Dominic look better than he actually is. Now he's walking around wearing a shirt talking about she's my mommy and shit for, like, I don't know. Then, of course, Rhea Ripley with, I ain't gonna lie, but she had them white ass undergarments on, talking about, Dom and stuff. Like, I was envisioning my own name on those. Oh my God. Hey man, that's one of the finest Australian women I've ever seen in my life. So I said what I said. Fuck you if you don't like me. But anyway, the match was trash. I don't like Dominic Mysterio currently as a wrestler. I think he's terrible. He's getting better on the mic, but I think he's terrible in the ring right now. Like he's too green. I think he needs to go down to NXT, be completely forgotten about, rebuild, and come back stronger. That's just definitely needs to go. He needs some developmental. I mean, he came
straight onto the main roster, obviously off the strength of his dad. You can really tell right now. His dad made him look good in the matches, and
yeah.
as far as fighting everybody else, he hasn't looked good. He hasn't put out good matches.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he doesn't have potential to be something good, but I mean, right now, a lot of people don't even know this, but Dwayne Johnson's daughter is wrestling on NXT right now. Developing. She's a part of a stable. She's playing this like evil ass role on kind of on some Alexa Bliss type shit, but it's working. She's getting comfortable. She's getting better on the mic. She's building her character, and it's actually progressively getting better for her. You could have done the same with Dominic, but whatever. They're trying to force Dominic down our throats, and it ain't working. Because now because they've got Dom essentially just killing us with all the Eddie Guerrero moves. Like, bro, you don't even look that good, dude. You doing the Three Amigos, and I don't really like it. Like, it don't look as clean as Eddie's did. It don't look as clean as as clean as Seth when he did it. It just I don't like it.
He has an all around sloppy style of wrestling right now that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah,
the potential. It's just like in any sport. You might be a natural at that sport, or you've been around it so much that you understand it and you can do it, but you're not clean yet. You haven't practiced it.
Yeah.
So because you understand it doesn't mean you can actually do it.
Yeah. And then what I thought was fire, though, the best part of this whole match was actually Corey Graves. Because Corey Graves dropped an absolute bar that is probably going to be put on a shirt coming soon. And during the match, he said, and I quote, "X gonna give it to you," talking about Xavier Woods. And I'm like, I can see Xavier Woods putting that hoe on a shirt. Shout out to the GOAT, one of the greatest, DMX. That was a fire ass line. Corey Graves don't say a lot of shit I like, but that right there was actually really good.
Yes.
We had another trash ass tag team debut in fucking Indus Shear. We're trying this shit with Veer Mahan and company once again. Veer Mahan was trash when he was in WWE the first time, went down to NXT, got forgotten about. Jinder Mahal saved him, and now they're bringing them back, and I don't like it. I just don't. I'm not a fan. They went against two. They did that squash match shit I was talking about. They went against two unknowns. Corey Graves didn't even know their fucking names, and it was just fucking terrible. So then we get to, we'll call it part of the main event type shit, but we talked about Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. So take it away and give us the summary, DJ Michael B.
Cody Rhodes is basically running a promo right now because I think they're matched up. They're trying to match him up again.
At Night of Champions, I believe.
At Night of Champions. And Cody is basically playing this whole role where it's like, okay, I've already beaten you. Not a lot of people have beaten you. And simply right now, Brock is just in his way. And he's going to run through him again. I don't know if they're going to squash match it this time, or if they're going to give Cody Rhodes another, or if they're going to give him an easy victory this time. It seems like it needs to set up to be an easy victory, the way the promo was running. I will say if Cody Rhodes loses this match, it absolutely makes no sense what the hell they're going to do with the storyline, which to me would almost guarantee that Roman is going to lose the belts.
This match sparks win via DQ for somebody.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only way that Brock can still look strong and Cody doesn't look weak. It's got to be some sort of a DQ. And I think maybe that's what it is. Because other than that, having Brock lose twice would be fucking crazy. But you can't afford to have Cody lose. Like, it doesn't make sense because, like, Brock seems like that's still box office. So, like, you just can't picture him losing twice.
Correct.
Like, not in a row. So it's like, what are we going to do here to make this work for all parties involved? That becomes the question.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so lost in this whole Cody Brock thing because the whole Cody Brock thing leads back to Roman.
Yeah.
And if Cody loses this match fair, Roman is going to drop the belt soon.
Yeah.
Or he's going to forget about Roman altogether and go for the new heavyweight championship.
100%.
So maybe they have him feud with Seth Rollins. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess in this case, time will tell. We're gonna completely skip over the Raquel, Chelsea Green, Ronda, Shayna Baszler bullshit because that is the worst. The worst. That is worse than Dominic Mysterio's wrestling. I'm gonna say it like that. It's just it's
Ronda and
fucking
Shayna,
terrible.
Ronda and Shayna just absolutely suck.
And Chelsea Green is terrible. She's just a mouthpiece. She
Yeah,
ain't good for shit else, and I don't even understand what they're doing. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm
I
just
don't know who's writing that storyline, but they're horrible, and they should probably lose their job after this.
agreed, 100%.
Not
Of
when
course,
somebody get fired, but come on, bro, you got to do better.
yeah. So talk to us about this this Sami Zayn Kevin Owens versus Judgment Day match that went down.
So, basically, it's set up earlier during in Raw. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were out there cutting the promo, obviously about Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos. Judgment Day interrupts. They swear they're not there to fight. Sami Zayn tells Kevin Owens, "Hey, let's hear him out." Kevin Owens listens. He just turns and say, "Well, can I punch him now?" And they start brawling. And then, yeah, basically, what was the word we used to use? Like he hurls off on him. That's what we used to say.
Yeah.
And they go at it. Sami Zayn's knocked out the ring. It's basically 3-on-1 with Kevin Owens in the ring. Sami Zayn pops up with the chair. They all run out. Later on tonight, they have a tag match. The Judgment Day wins, but the Judgment Day is basically here to say, look, we're up next. After the Roman and Solo Sikoa match, we are up next, and we're coming for those belts. So I assume it's going to be because you remember they had the match versus the Usos too.
Yeah.
So it's been teased for a while that the Judgment Day will get the belts at some point. So I don't know if that will be Finn Balor and Damian Priest, or it will be Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
But one thing is sure, it will not be Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor.
No, but I like that you have now the Bloodline, the Judgment Day, and Imperium all threatening for the tag titles. You could put a stupid ass fucking fatal 4-way tag match out there, or I do you one better, elimination chamber tag match, something that ain't never been done before. Just imagine that teams in pods. You get the Judgment Day, you get the Bloodline, you get Imperium, you get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, you get the Street Profits.
I mean, as long as the belts are still unified, you can still. The Street Profits got drafted to Raw. Oh, SmackDown.
SmackDown, I thought.
Yeah. So as long as the belts are still, as long as the belts are still unified up until Elimination Chamber, I don't see why you couldn't do that.
I mean, if we finally get them split too, I mean, you could still pull it off realistically, but time will tell. But overall, like I said, it looked like Monday Night Raw was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Looking forward to seeing how Friday is going to pan out. Just to recap. Inform everybody. Currently, the score is 42-39. Miami is up. We have 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Put UD in. That's my campaign for the rest of the playoffs.
All right. Hey, I'm not going to, put him in, last, a little bit of each quarter, but don't, we love UD, but not, we don't need too much UD.
If Miami was to win a championship and UD go out on top, they're retiring UD's jersey next year. I'm just telling you now.
Look, I'm pulling for the Heat, man. I'm like, I really am.
No,
it's hard not to like this, and you'll know this, and we try not to deviate too much on the show, but this Miami Heat team looks like that team that you see every 10, 11 years. The Pistons, that random Spurs team that won, the Toronto Raptors, like these random teams that just kind of get sprinkled in amongst the usual suspects.
Yep.
That's what Miami looks like. That's why they're so dangerous. Because we've seen this in the NBA before. This isn't new. It's just the fact that they're always there. They beat Milwaukee. They beat the Knicks. The Sixers fell apart. And now once again, I'm going to say this like I said it last year. You got the two best teams in the East, again, in the East Conference Finals. Call it what you want. But I digress. Let's get back to the lesson at hand.
Sure.
I know DJ Micah B got one of them phenomenal things on this show that we like to call and this is the part where I shut the hell up and let DJ Michael B do what he does best. Take it away.
I feel like Skip Bayless right now. Okay, it is my turn. All right, like I told you in the pre-show, I'm gonna need your help with this one. Okay, so
talk to me.
There's an A and there's a B.
Okay.
I know what A is. I know what B is. I want you to pick a letter, and that's the crossover I'm gonna do because I got two crossovers, and I'll save one for next week.
All right, I'm taking B.
You're taking B. Perfect. So the B actually directly involves the word translate. Translate is so important because, if you speak two different languages, you translate things like that. But there's certain things that translate language to language where there's no barrier. There's no need to adjust. Everybody know what laughter is. I could slip and fall, and there could be 25 different people from different languages, but they all know they all laughing. Because it's international. It translates. It's just international. Music is one of those things that translate. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted today. There was two belly dancers from India that did a hip hop set, and they were doing a lot of the ticking and roboting with their belly dancing. It was pretty freaking insane to see a hip hop song and a hip hop beat with Indian culture because music translates. That kind of culture just translates. So this is why I need your help in this crossover. We're going to talk about translate. And yes, fantasy football is still a good ways away, a good couple of months away. But here's something that a lot of people don't know about me and you. In fantasy football tradition in our league for the past maybe about 5 years now, every year, me and you draft at least one rookie that we think is going to succeed at the next level.
Yeah.
So here's what I want you to do for me today in the crossover. Mr. GQ himself.
Go for it.
What are you looking for in a rookie that you are going to draft that translate from the NCAA collegiate level that will make them succeed in the NFL level without adjustment? Boom.
What I'm looking for is most importantly, so I guess I don't like doing this, but I do it for the sake of the show. Peel back a little curtain on my draft board, how I like to do things. Not giving you names, just giving you
yeah, that's fine.
The thought process involved. I look for a skill set that's very simple. Let's take running backs. Are you a good pass catcher out of the backfield? Are you fast? Are you shifty? Or are you the big, strong, I ran 4 or 5 yards, ran your ass over, fell forward, got 2 more yards? Like what type of player are you? Second thing I look at is offensive fit. Based on where you were drafted, it's going to tell me, should I draft you on the fantasy team? Because if you're on a trash offense, probably not going to draft you. The exception was Kyle Pitts as a rookie. And then his sophomore year, he fucking fell apart.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like this particular draft is going to be interesting because you've got a couple of running backs, a couple of receivers that have a chance to step on immediately and make an impact. So, of course, just like every single other fantasy analyst out there is talking, I can highlight this one, and that's Bijan Robinson. He's a highlight. The reason he's an important draft pick in this upcoming fantasy draft, too, is because where he's drafted, because you still have Drake London and Kyle Pitts on top of that. I think the addition of Bijan makes those two better because he takes pressure off of those two, because he commands his own attention by himself, which should give you more one-on-ones for those two guys. So the argument is, do you draft the rookie or do you draft Drake London and or Kyle Pitts based off of that same logic? The way my whiteboard is structured depends on how it looks in a certain round.
That's it?
Yeah, that's simple.
That's a pretty quick rundown. I'll go. I'll do specific because I've drafted nothing but pass catchers. I haven't drafted any rookie running backs. The last rookie running back I did target, I forgot who got him, which was Zeke. Forgot which I forgot who drafted him, but
Jared got him that year.
Jared got him that year, and
because me and Jared was in the finals.
Yeah, Z turned out to be a beast, and he very much so did translate to the NFL.
Yeah, for about 5 years.
Yeah, well, he was a leading rusher for. It's unfortunate he went to the Cowboys though. But my keys, and I'm looking for somebody that's going to play with a established quarterback. So normally, if you're a top 5 receiver pick, probably not going to pick you in fantasy unless I get you in like a late round, and you're probably going to be the number 1 option.
Yeah.
But how it was with DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson, I said that's perfect because there was certain things that DK Metcalf did in college that I knew was going to translate. Number 1, he was huge. He was huge, and he was very quick for his size. His hands were stupid, and his catch radius was ridiculous. Yep. He had a similar kind of body type, more not height wise, but similar to how Calvin Johnson was. Because obviously Calvin Johnson was 6'6" or 6'7", whatever it was. He was Calvin
Megatron.
Johnson.
He was Megatron. That's Megatron. I didn't even call him Calvin. That's Megatron. That man was a whole ass fucking transformer.
Megatron was meant to be a basketball player, not a football player. That's what I always said.
He'd have been yamming on everybody too.
Yeah. Another thing and you have to really kind of be deep into football and know this, but I was watching Shannon Sharp one time and I started paying attention. Do they know the route tree? Because in college, a lot of these receivers are very, very fast, so they just get open.
Yeah.
But if you have the speed but don't have the route running skills to match it, it's probably not going to translate very well.
There ain't a lot of Tyreek Hills and Jalen Waddles out there.
Correct. Although Tyreek Hill is actually pretty good at running the route tree now.
That's what I'm saying. No, well, he was good when he was coming out too. It's just he was known for his speed, but his route running was actually not. His knock was that he didn't catch with his hands, and that's where people thought he wasn't that good. But his route running actually isn't that bad.
Speaking of catching with your hands, can you hold on to the ball when you are being hit? That's another thing. It is hard for a lot of receivers to hold on to the ball when they're getting hit because they're not getting hit in college when they're catching the ball.
No.
So is there enough plays of where I can see you get hit, but you still make the play and hold on to the ball?
Mm-hmm.
That's the main things I look for. So, as far as quarterbacks go, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. Nobody knows. Just everybody thought Ryan Leaf was gonna be a monster. He was gonna be better than Peyton Manning. That didn't pan out. I thought Ryan Mallett was going to be freaking amazing. That didn't pan out. I just think quarterbacks, you could be absolutely phenomenal in college, but nothing in the NFL. And one of the things that you got to look for is the biggest thing that'll translate is, can a quarterback throw a receiver open? Like in college, if all you're doing is throwing 2 open receivers, you're probably not going to be that good in the NFL. You have to be able to throw a receiver open. You have to be pinpoint accurate. So that's just like fantasy tips from 2 guys that's been playing fantasy now for.
Let me shine some light on the quarterback aspect, because there actually is a formula that I actually look at. This is how I was able to look at when I drafted. The first time we put our league together, this is how I was able to draft Russell Wilson and Phillip Rivers, because there's a certain set of qualities that you can look for. And in college quarterbacks, you have to be careful. So you got to look at a couple things. First thing is conference. What conferences they play in? Why do I say conference? Conference meaning what level of defenses are you playing against? Because Big 12 quarterbacks look better than SEC quarterbacks because Big 12 quarterbacks don't face the same type of defense. That's why the scores are in the 50s and 60s. So a guy like Patrick Mahomes fell through the cracks because he's in the Big 12. Everybody was scoring 40, 50 points. Him and Baker Mayfield put a game together where they threw for over 1,000 fucking combined yards. And like, I think it was like 9 touchdowns, some crazy shit like that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Here's what you have to look at. One, how do you throw off script? When the pressure's on, when you're rolling out of the pocket, are you looking downfield? And just like DJ Micah B said, can you throw someone open? So when you go back and look at the film, right, when you look at a guy like, let's just use Russell Wilson for an example, that was what he did really well in college. He was a really good bootleg quarterback. He could roll out, look at the route, see a receiver that was on his way and get ready to break, and he could throw that ball right where it needed to be. So when that receiver made that break, boom, ball was on the money. So guys like that. A guy like Patrick Mahomes, yes, we did not know that he was going to be what he was in the NFL. We didn't. But the film said he was still a quarterback who was really good at improvising. Improvisation in college is a skill that can translate. It can also backfire. Ask Johnny Manziel. It can also backfire on you. 100%. Yeah, I said what I said. So then you go and you look at another quarterback. Yeah, no. Look, we're not even going to go down that rabbit hole. But then you look at Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was a very polished, refined quarterback in college. He could beat you with his legs. He could beat you on the run, or he could just sit in the pocket and beat your ass. Those types of quarterbacks are rare. There aren't a lot of Deshaun Watsons in college. Say what you want about Deshaun Watson is off the fieldness in the NFL. And there are not a lot of Deshaun Watsons in college. There's not a lot. Since Deshaun Watson has come into the league, let me play this game for you. The only draft class since that class that had Mahomes and you know all those guys in it, the only class where Deshaun would have had competition for that top spot was the same draft that Trevor Lawrence came out in.
Oh yeah.
Every other class, he's in the top two picks. He is. I'm sorry. You can't tell me I'm wrong because you won the national championship. You beat Alabama, and you beat Alabama on a clutch play. You didn't beat them. You didn't blow them out. You didn't beat them on like a Hail Mary. You beat them in the red zone on a third down and like 3rd and 6. I think it was like 3rd and 6. But you beat an SEC defense, and you beat the greatest coach in college football in the red zone. And the reason we say that is because that same Alabama defense, 9 guys got drafted from it.
Ridiculous. So
there's no confusion on how good that defense was. And Deshaun did that. That means he has a skill set, and it did translate over. He just got drafted to the wrong organization. No disrespect to the Texans. But the Texans did not have what would have helped Deshaun blow up even more. He was the guy. Yes, you brought in at some point, you had DeAndre Hopkins, but you still never had an O-line worth of shit. You had a revolving door of running backs. You had a average defense, and you had a below average special teams. And don't get me wrong, if you look at the numbers, despite all that, Deshaun Watson was still a 4,000 plus yard quarterback. I think this year he's going to be great in Cleveland. I didn't say good. I think he's going to be great. Now he's got a full year. I think he's back. I think the rebound is good. He's got a full year under the system. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. If you want to know what my division picks were, check us out on Inside the Huddle. I already got controversial picks. And no, I did not pick the punk-ass Jets to win the AFC East. But there is a video coming soon where I talk about my AFC East picks. It's coming up on the TikTok. So y'all be looking out for that. So,
I was about to say it.
Yeah. So there are a couple of receivers. I will, again, peel back this curtain. There are a few rookie receivers in this draft that just came out that they are on my whiteboard. Where I will draft them, I don't know.
Who knows?
And I'm not going to tell you which ones I'm targeting, but there are some that I would like to highlight for those who are in Dynasty Leagues, which, by the way, I'm going to send you an invite. That Dynasty League, somebody dropped out. So I'm going to send you so I can get you in that thing. Because I talked to the commissioner and ain't nobody got back. I said, fuck it, I'm just going to send the link to you and let you jump on in. So do you have the Sleeper app?
No, I can get it though.
Okay, download the Sleeper app. It's going down. But let me highlight these receivers that I'm keeping my eye on. So Jackson Smith and Jigba. Why? Because he came from Ohio State. Ohio State produces phenomenal receivers. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Excuse me. The.
My bad. The.
Yeah.
They tried to trademark it, but it didn't work.
We're title like that.
Yeah. Zay Flowers out of Boston College going to the Baltimore Ravens. I'm a fan. I think he's gonna fit really well. I like Jonathan Mingo. I don't like that he's with the Carolina Panthers, but I like him a lot. So another receiver I'm keeping my eye on. Don't sleep on Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice out of SMU. He is playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna leave it at that. Don't sleep on Rashee Rice. Don't sleep on him. I ain't telling you to reach for him, but if you can catch him towards the end of the draft, you won't regret it towards the end of the NFL season. So, mark it. Look, I'm going to write that timestamp down because I want to post that one too. That's the 54 minute mark.
Hey, that's a good one to make a TikTok out of too. So
yeah, it's going down. So, for the sake of honorable mention, I'm going to throw this tight end in there too. Brenton Strange, because he came from Penn State. Tight ends that come out of Penn State, Iowa, you just know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You just do. I don't care. You know what you're going to get from those schools when it comes to the tight end position. That's another guy to keep an eye on as a rookie. Oh, and Marvin Mims, another one to keep an eye on. He came out of Oklahoma. He is playing with Sean Payton's system. Sean Payton loves receivers that are built like Marvin Mims. Another one to keep an eye on. And an honorable mention is Tank Dell. Tank Dell came out of the University of Houston, and he is playing with the Los Angeles Rams with Cooper Kupp and Sean McVay and company. So that's another one I'm telling you right now. Do not sleep on him. He might be the number 2 receiver on that team by the end of the season.
There we go.
Boom.
Boom, boom, boom. See, look, y'all already getting fancy talking. Ain't even time yet. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The crossover, the word translate, that was the key word. You'll go make sure you timestamp that so they can run that back real quick.
Let them run it. So you know what time it is. We've gotten through the crossover, but we would not be the show that we are without the thing that makes us great. All right. Let me take a deep breath. So we got to talk about these dumbass millionaires.
Millionaires.
And there's a lot. There's always a lot. But the first thing I want to do is I want to apologize to Dylan Brooks. And here's why I want to apologize to Dylan Brooks. I said this to my co-host earlier, and he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I said, I'll explain on the show. And the only reason I'm apologizing to you, Dylan Brooks, is not because of your fuck-ass antics. It's not. It's really not. It's not because of all the crybaby-ass shit you was doing. Oh, they made me out to be a villain, all this shit like that. It's because you were the distraction. You were the scapegoat. You were the distraction from the actual fucking problem with the Memphis Grizzlies. And you highlighted yourself. You did this all by yourself. With your little, pimp name, slick back hair and shit, you're doing all your little shit like this. You were the ultimate distraction from the real problem. And the real problem is your fucking star player in John Morant. That's the problem. Because not once, not twice, but 3 separate incidents involving firearms. If you really count, it's really 5, but it's 3 major ones. But it's 5 in total. Because some of them go back to the Indiana Pacers game and some other shit that went down. But 3 big ones. And this last one is got to be the worst one not because the video is out, but part of it. But it's because this happened a couple months after he came out. He was suspended for the 8 games. He got some help. He said, I was a big time distraction for my team. I caused a lot of problems. I know I've got to do better as a leader, all this stuff. In other words, somebody wrote that motherfucking speech for him because a couple months later, this dumbass millionaire, Mr. Morant, was on IG Live again. Not on his IG Live, on his partner's, who was driving, by the way, which makes this shit even worse because the driver, who should keep his eyes on the fucking road out here oh man, look at my guy. No. And this
I didn't
man,
even think about that part.
I'm like, come on, bro. So there's that. But then the fact that this man pulled the gun out. Here's what bothers me. As somebody who is an avid gun owner and gun shooter, I love guns. I am very much Mr. Second Amendment. I am. I believe 1000% everybody who is of sound mind and sound rationale should own a gun to protect themselves and their family and their loved ones, because shit happens. I'm going to keep it at that. I ain't going to get too political on y'all, but that's my little spiel on guns. But this dumbass should not have a gun because he likes to take it out and do this thing that kids do and rub it up against his temple. And I'm like, what? Do you understand that one slip of the finger, one sneeze, one you drank too much or you might be high and you mishandle this weapon and it discharges in this vehicle, what the fuck might happen? But you over here vibing, bullshitting, rubbing this bitch on your temple. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, well, he probably has no basic weapons training. Like, what if he picks that motherfucker up with his hand on the trigger and squeezes and don't realize, and then pow, you know what I'm saying, a round goes off. You know, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy for this particular moment. What if he pulls that motherfucker out and squeezes it? And what if he popped himself live on IG? This young man is a millionaire with lots of endorsements. This man is a father. It bothers me more because he's a father, because I am a father of girls as well. And it bothers me more because of that, because I'm like, you have more to lose than a lot of people. And you didn't even live this life. You didn't. You lived a comfortable life. But what you are about to do is you're about to join this list of people who fucked around and found out. My guy, you are in Memphis, Tennessee. There are some individuals in Memphis, Tennessee, who will try you. And you may or may not respond accordingly. Because if they pull up to your house on that bullshit, what you really gonna do? Don't start no shit, won't be no shit. You are a millionaire with access. Stop toting. Stop flaunting. Like, why? But then here's the thing. This is what gets me about this. Is you went to your CEO, your boss, your commissioner, whatever word you want to classify Mr. Adam Silver as, and you pleaded your case. And you pleaded this sob story. You know, you played the game. Your agent told you probably exactly what the fuck to say, and you said it to a T. You probably rehearsed the shit in the mirror a whole bunch of times so it sounded authentic. And you went in there and straight up bold-faced lied. Call it what it is. You bold-faced lied. Because your actions proved absolutely that you spit in your boss's face. And what's fucked off about it all is we are currently in this wonderful segment. We know we're talking about dumbass millionaires, but here's something I'm going to do for you, because this goes into a phenomenal segue, transition, or the word that DJ Micah B used earlier. It translates into this. You might as well call me Houdini sometimes when I am with my fingers. So,
hey, before you start, again, shout out to Jew Fresh for the beats, man, for the slides. Yes.
Man, what? Dude, the songs are A1. So now we talked about the dumbass millionaire, but he also ties into a much bigger issue, which is why I brought the Real Talk intro video into the mix. Because there are a lot of people that were defending this man. Oh, you should stand your ground. You should do this. You should do that. And I'm like, you know what that tells me about all those people? All you motherfuckers is broke. Ain't not a single one of you motherfuckers out there advocating making that kind of money. You don't work for a corporation. Because I did some reading. and I learned something. Normally, I revert to my co-host when it comes to all things NBA, but I wanted to do this and learn something. So I learned something today. I'll tell you what I learned. And then it's funny, when I looked this up, Kenny the Jet Smith actually talked about it and Shaq confirmed it. I didn't know this. Maybe you knew this, but I didn't know this. Inside of every single NBA player's contract, there's this thing called the morale clause. So here's what the morale clause is for those who don't know about this. Let me educate you real quick. So it is basically stating that you cannot be racist, extremist, do anything that's considered dangerous. You can't do anything that does those things to yourself or the league. Anything that incites violence, all that stuff. Guess what? Toting a gun and all that stuff does. It falls right in line with this morale clause in your contract because it's dangerous. Bam. The more you know. Tell you right now, if you ain't done it, you ought to look it up. It's amazing how that works out. You should just go look up the morale clause in the NBA contracts. So
I didn't know that was a thing. So
here's the other thing. Like, I'm not mad that Ja Morant has a weapon, because I'm not. I'm all about protecting yourself. What I have a problem with is, my man, you represent a corporation, a $1 billion business, and you are a part of that $1 billion business. That same $1 billion business took a 22-year-old kid and gave him $200 million of an investment in you because of your skill set, your talents, and your character at the time, and all these things. And then Powerade gave you an endorsement. And then Nike gave you a shoe. You picked up all this excess cash and investments. All these people are investing in the business of Ja Morant. And now you are jeopardizing that. Now, this is the same society of people, the ones that are defending Ja Morant, that tried to burn Kyrie Irving at the stake. When in turn, Kyrie actually didn't do anything wrong. He promoted something that, yeah, some people may have been uncomfortable with. But at the end of the day, what did Kyrie actually do that was wrong? He didn't violate the morale clause. Now, with his little comments that he made about the Jewish culture, that's different. That was absolutely wrong. But the other things that he did, you tried to crucify this man for that. But now we insert Ja Morant doing reckless things that can get not only himself hurt, get his friends hurt, could put all of his friends in danger. What if somebody decided to hit that car up, hit a lick, as we like to say? Oh, they making an IG live. Hey, man, that's Ja Morant in there, man. Let's go. We know they got bread in there. Now what? You got one gun. What's one gun versus six going to do? Nothing. You're going to be a broke-ass millionaire because you're going to get all your shit ran through because they're going to run them pockets on you. Just that simple. We have to stop doing this. I hate that we have to have this conversation again and again and again, but I'm going to keep bringing this point right back to it until we realize it. We, as a culture, have got to stop being the most self-destructive, toxic culture. We are doing it to ourselves. No one is stopping these millionaire African Americans from being great except them.
Except
by their choices. You are making the choice to be a dumbass when you could just be quiet. How much noise does Floyd Mayweather make? Like, as far as negative noise.
None.
Now, when he was boxing, he was making noise, but he was making noise to opponents. He wasn't just out and about being dumb. Let's take it a step further. Let's look at two individuals. Look at two musicians. Even Shannon Sharp highlighted these two, which is it just works out. Look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a billionaire. Where did Jay-Z come from? He came from the streets.
The streets.
Look at 50 Cent. 50 Cent is a billionaire. Where did 50 Cent come from? The streets. Look at Dr. Dre. Where did Dr. Dre come from? The streets. He is a billionaire. He sold Beats by Dre to Apple and made that much more money. Look at Ice Cube. Another guy. He now has the Big Three basketball league. He's a megastar. All the movies, all the music. Where did he come from? He ain't turned back.
Ice Cube's so big now that people forget that he was even a gangster rapper.
Yeah,
The
people
kids,
forget.
the
Like,
kids of this
they really
generation now
do.
don't even know Ice Cube was a gangster rapper.
But just think about that. Like, why wouldn't you want to follow in the footsteps of individuals like that? Why are you trying to push this persona like you a WWE wrestler? You trying to push this character that's not you? Because I guarantee you, you run across the wrong one, and you're not gonna be that guy. They're gonna run them pockets, and you're gonna be broke because you're not about that life. I don't think you really and truly are about that life. I really don't. I'm not saying you scared. I'm not saying you won't, defend yourself. But unfortunately, his parents also aren't helping the situation because of the incident in the mall that happened with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
His mom wasn't happy with the service. She called her son. 15 minutes later, Ja pulled up with 8 or 9 of his homeboys, and the dude at the shoe shop ran into the back closet, and they banging on this door. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, you don't even know who this cat is that you had hiding in this closet, right? Like, let's play this game. I like playing games sometimes. Let's play this game. Let's just say that incident happened in Texas. Let's just say that. Let's say it happened in Texas. And this was they was at a Foot Locker at the mall, and this happens. And this so happens to be a young teenage Hispanic kid. All of a sudden, you do the same exact thing, but what you don't know is that he got cousins that's MS-13,
And that's
Mafia, and all this other stuff, and they see this.
And that's a real possibility in Texas.
Yeah, because you don't know this. Oh, they're gonna find you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, and Memphis is no better. There are groups in Memphis that's probably just watching, like, oh, he gonna slip one time. He gonna go out by himself one time. He gonna go out with a group of only 2 or 3. We're gonna have 5, 10, 11 of them with him. He gonna slip, and he gonna get hit up. And we're gonna see it on the news. I'm not saying he gonna lose nothing, but don't be shocked if he gets robbed and we hear about it, because you out here flaunting for no reason. How many NBA players in the offseason do you hear about? Like, how many of these cats do you hear about in a negative light? Most of these cats disappear. Like, disappear. You don't even hear from LeBron in the offseason.
Nah.
He be on vacation. You might see him on social media pop up. That man disappears. Paul George pops up on some podcasts. You don't hear shit from Kawhi. I don't even think Kawhi says 20 words in the offseason. Jimmy Butler's doing
in the regular season.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Butler doing, he doing the coffee business. But most of these cats, you don't hear nothing from them. These NFL guys, when the season's over with, most of them, they ghost.
It's crazy because a lot of these guys come from that.
Yeah. And they don't go back, not like that. They'll go back to support the help, but they don't.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna be a professional during the NFL, the NBA season, but in the summertime, I'm gonna go be that guy. No, they don't do that.
John Morant, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You've heard me say this a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
John Morant is setting himself up to mess around and find out, and not even with what you just said, and simply losing, fumbling, whatever you want to call it, fumbling the bag.
Oh, he about to be an all-time great bag fumbler.
He's about to fumble the bag, and the people right now that he is around, that he's flaunting the gun for, he all this extra shit that he's doing, they're going to look at him and laugh and be like, "You're a fucking idiot for fumbling the bag. You had the whole world, but you chose that you wanted to promote the life, this life
that you didn't live."
Like, yes, I tell people all the time, yes, I grew up around the hood shit. Yes, I grew up around the street shit. But that's not my life. I didn't live that life.
No.
I was more scared. I was more scared trying to live that life and coming home to my mom.
We know where both of us is from. We know where we both grew up. We didn't live that life. We know plenty of cats that never left that life, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Your choice. I made the choices I made to get out. You made the choices you made to do what it is you do. But we also were around people that wouldn't let us get in that life.
We had OGs that wouldn't let us in that life.
Yeah,
yep.
We had OGs. We had cousins. Like, they was like, "Nah, man, you too smart for this. Like, don't put yourself in this position. You better than that." Like, people mistake the hood for certain things, and I'm like, listen, man, the hood ain't what you think it is all the time. Like
No.
there's a code in the hood where, like, you know, if you got the talent to make it out, the hood gonna back you.
Well, see, here's what I'm wondering now, because a lot of, especially around John Morant's age, they just grew up in a different time period. They grew up in that time period where the neighbors couldn't tell them shit. This person can tell them shit because that's not their mom, it's not their dad, things like that. And we talked about it. I can't remember. I think it was on here. I think it was me, you, and
Mel. It's me, you, and Mel.
Right. So the lack of the village aspect now.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't tell my kid nothing. You can't do this. You can't hold my kid accountable for nothing. Only the parents can hold them accountable. And if the parents can hold them accountable and the rest of the people out there can't hold them accountable, who the hell is holding them accountable? And it's showing right now, now that he's out on his own as a man, you had no accountability in your life growing up. And if you don't watch yourself, somebody in these streets for real will hold you accountable for the bullshit you do. They already don't like it, especially in Memphis. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's the wrong place to do that.
Yeah. Can't be me. I'll tell you that much.
So
get out and stay out, man. It's so much. It's cool out here, man. It's cool. It's safe. It's good. You cool. Take care of your family, man. Like, you know, just be you. Be grateful, man. You made it. You made it to a place where less than like 2% make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you made it. You gotta take advantage of that.
I don't think people understand how hard it is to make any professional sport. You got to remember, everybody that went to college, pretty much, or Division I college, was the guy at their high school. Then you go to college and people are better than you, and everybody in the NBA was either the number 1 or number 2 guy at the college. And everybody that has made a professional sport was a child superstar or prodigy at one point in their life, from the time they were in Pee Wee most of the time. Not saying all people like that, because some people are late bloomers.
Yeah, 100%.
Or they're in the wrong sport and they come over to another sport and they realize they're better at the sport.
But I mean, you have a guy like Austin Reeves, who was undrafted.
Austin Reeves was a dog in college. People just
exactly. I mean, you talk about late bloomers. Hell, speaking of other cats on the Lakers, Rui Hachimura was a promising cat coming out of college. You thought he was finna be big. Went to Washington and wasn't shit. Had flashes, but now all of a sudden, you know, just like Andrew Wiggins, another one. Was supposed to come out of college and just be a guy, be a dog, big time prospect. What did he do? He got traded. He got traded for Kevin Love and an NBA championship.
You know, while we're in the middle of this real talk / dumbass millionaires thing, I wanted to bring this story to your attention. I don't know if you heard about what happened on First Take today.
I do not. I did not. Well, I've been in class all day, so actually not.
Okay.
People have talked about it, but I haven't actually heard what happened.
Well, this dumbass, and I don't dislike Molly. She just annoys me at points. But LeBron was talking about playing in Denver, and how the altitude changes things a lot. Because if most of you should know at this point, or at least Molly should. Being a sportscaster, you damn sure should know players come back complaining about the altitude in Denver. It's real. It was brought up in LeBron's quote today, and she mocked it on set. Oh, is it really that bad? Does it really make a difference? Who was on the panel today on First Take? You see, you already covered your face because you already know who was on the panel. Ryan Clark was on the panel. I don't know how much people are familiar with Ryan Clark's story. I know me and you are very familiar with Ryan Clark's story. As a member of the Washington Redskins, he played there. He had abdominal pains. They had to move him from Denver and take him back after a couple of days in the hospital because of the altitude.
Yeah.
Then in 2007 with the Steelers, he lost part of his, I think his gallbladder, his spleen, and his liver, because he almost died because of the altitude they're playing, because the air was so thin. I don't know how many of y'all have ever. What's the mask that you wear?
Oh, my elevation training mask.
Elevation training mask. I don't know how many of y'all have ever wore elevation training mask. I didn't wear one till Mr. GQ had one. Let me tell y'all, dude. And then when I went to North Carolina, I went to Blue Ridge. That altitude makes a huge difference. And if you're going to be a sportscaster, at least the whole set fell quiet because Molly made such a stupid ass mistake to say some dumb shit like that. That is the reason why we have this segment, Dumbass Millionaire, and this is the reason why it's tied into Real Talk today. You have to know better when you are doing. There's no reason a podcaster like me should be having to school her ass on something like this. Come on, dude. You got to be better. You have got to be better. You cannot mock some shit like that with a guy right there who almost died because of the altitude on the set.
Who else was on the set today?
Stephen A. Smith. I think Mad Dog was on the set at the time too. I think it was Stephen A. Smith was obviously through video because he's never on the damn set unless it's time for Stephen A.'s list.
Well, that's because Stephen A. He missed the worldwide now.
Yeah, so he took the name from Pitbull now.
So that's the thing. See, I do dislike Molly because Molly talks out the side of her fucking neck too much for me. And that right there, if I would have seen that, I think I would have turned the TV off. Because you can't, let me be proper with my English. You cannot be that dumb. Her natural hair color must be blonde. Because I'm going to tell you from a whole nother experience. I was in a country that I will keep nameless that was 7,578 feet above fucking sea level.
Oh, hell no.
It took me 6 days to acclimate. 6. The first night I was there, I got there at night. I went to sleep. Cool. Second and first morning I was there. My happy ass did what I do all the time. I took my ass to the gym. I took my pre-workout. I was hyped. I was like, bet, finna go have me my first workout. This place, gym looked nice. I get on the bench and I start bench pressing. I'm not doing nothing crazy. It's like 205. Nothing out this world. But I'm benching. All of a sudden, I start seeing purple spots. And I said, what the fuck? I ain't never seen purple spots. That shit, I thought I was hallucinating. And I was like, oh no. So I racked that weight. And something told me, don't get up super fast. So I got up slow. And my motherfucking head started spinning. I was like, oh man. Mind you, I drink a lot of water. I'm a hydrated guy. I'm pretty in good shape. That shit broke me off. I didn't work out for another 5 days. I walked. That's what I did. I walked.
Yeah.
I walked around to build my lungs. And then I started playing basketball over there, and that was a whole different ballgame because I came back feeling like a superhero. Because I felt like I could breathe forever. But yeah, no. Fuck that. She need to take her ass somewhere with some high. Look, take her ass to the top of Mount Everest and let's talk about elevation, dummy. Where the air's so fucking thin, your ass have a fucking asthma attack and you ain't even got asthma, dummy. Like, I don't like dumb people. She's ill-informed. She's hella ill-informed. If I would have seen that video, or if I would have actually had time to see that video, she definitely would have been on Dumbass Millionaires today. But guess what? You are now the Dumbass Millionaire honorable mention. Period. You can't be that irresponsible in this life. No. But she's notorious for saying dumb shit.
Yes.
And insensitive shit. And I'm like, bro.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. Boy, if I seen her on the street, I might trip her. Like, golly, bro. Like, oh.
I knew I was gonna get a reaction out of you. That's why I had to tell you the story.
Here's a new word for y'all. The dumbassery.
The dumbass.
Sometimes. You can't make this stuff up.
Can't make it up, dog.
But it happened. I'm sure that's gonna be all over. I'm sure when I scroll TikTok before I go to bed tonight, I'm gonna see a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because, well, like we said, that has been an interesting way to end the show today, but it's okay.
No, we're not going to end the show like that. We can't end the show like that.
No, I was going to ask you a question anyway. That's the best
part. Okay.
And the very important question is very simple. You got one of them shout outs?
Oh, of course, and that's where I was going to go next. Y'all know this is
that's why we do this.
I don't have a shot or a brew with me, but if I did, where would I have gotten them?
At HEB. Here,
everything's better.
Now we live. We definitely need that sponsor.
Yeah, for real. All right. My shout out's gonna be pretty simple today. My shout out's gonna be to my brother. His birthday is up and coming. It's Memorial Day weekend. So it's a happy birthday to him. I know it's a week in advance, but we're gonna party like it's 1999, like Prince say, all week next. So we're gonna party and bullshit and party and bullshit.
Hey, we know how it is. So my shout out is gonna be very simple. It is going to be to all of my classmates that have been out here since April 23rd. We graduate in 9 days. It's been a long class. It's been a long school. We've done a lot of homework. We've done a lot of bullshit, but we almost there. And I'm telling you right now, we turning up this weekend. It goes down on Friday.
They want you to turn tonight.
Hey, nah, they did want me to turn up tonight at karaoke night, but I was like, no, I got to stream. Y'all already know this. We already been down this road. But speaking of road, we are going to go to the Roadhouse, aka the Texas Roadhouse, on Friday. That's just to get the weekend started. And then Saturday, we're going to make it do what it do.
Make it do, baby.
Yeah. Sunday, we're going to recover. We have our class outing the night before graduation, so we may or may not be. We may be a little twisted, like Keith Sweat said, you know what I'm saying, got me twisted. We may be a little twisted at graduation, but it's okay. It'll be worth it. I have to shoot you the link. Because they're posting the graduation live. It's gonna be on Facebook, so they're gonna be able to do it so everybody can watch.
Damn right.
You know, that'll be live. It'll be dope. And then I'm bringing my happy ass home. As much as I don't love this state, I'm ready to get back to my home state. Ready to get back to Texas. Ready to get back home to my people. Because I love y'all and I miss y'all very, very much. But that wraps up our show, ladies and gentlemen. Like I told you, I am the CEO of Hoochie Daddies Incorporated, Mr. GQ. Hoochie Daddy season is in full effect. Get your 3-inch seam shorts on and let them know.
I'm the leader of the Baby Mama Steelers, DJ Micah B. And by the way, Heat in 7.
Hey.
When I'm in my zone, I feel like I'm alone. I feel like I'm unknown to the world that's full of clones. My originality's focused on principalities broken. I'm loaning my heart and soul to the game that's scared to pay it back. And failure is a month.